Typically, I am not a fan of charcoal because
Hi,
it's just a messy
it's
medium,
Stephanie Stevenson
and the exercises
here,
I was
joining
to
you again this
perform during my
Wednesday
time at
evening for
university
Work in
didn't
Progress
really give me a
Wednesdays.
sense of why
I
I should
am
continue
known
using
as
charcoal.
watercolor artiste
This
in
changed though when I
social
was motivated anew by
social
modern YouTube
circles,
artists who
and
operate in
I
this
am
medium
the
almost
artist on
exclusively. I
midlifeartist.com,
enjoyed seeing almost
and I'm
painterly
joining
effects
you
done in
for a
charcoal
special
that I
night
was inspired.
of
It's a great medium
painting,
to explore
as
values as well.
well
I have an affinity
as
for trying to create
introducing
images
something
that
very
reflect
exciting.
emotional intimacy,
So,
humor, or
I
joy,
want to welcome you
particularly.
all
This 18-inch by
to the live
24-inch
stream. If
composition
you're
was
watching,
inspired by
if
music,
it's your
more
first time
specifically a
joining,
song
I
called
am
Desire.
totally not
I will link
professional with the
that
whole videography thing.
song at the
I'm
end of this
still
short.
learning. In fact, I decided to use my camcorder because it's got better uh, pixels or whatever. I am showing my ineptitude here than my webcam does on the laptop. So normally I have the webcam up to introduce myself, but I decided to go ahead and have the camcorder working because it's just a little bit better. It's supposed to be 8K or Ultra HD or whatever. I'm reading right off of the thing there. But anyway, uh, you can join me to watch. You can join me to laugh at me. You can chat along with me. I appreciate you joining. I only go for about an hour to an hour and a half. Excuse me, no longer than an hour and a half, if I can help it. Excuse me. I've been doing good all day without coughing, so I apologize. Anyway, I wanted to welcome you, and I always start off my live streams to let you know what my goal is for the live stream, and there's a couple of them. One is obviously to paint, and I'm painting something different this week than I did the last couple of times, and I'll explain why when I get to that point. I'm also well, I know there was three things, but two of them popped to mind. And the second one is that I want to introduce my husband's brand new hot off the presses book for his tabletop role playing game. If you follow him and or me on social media, you know that he's been working hard on it. He is not as much of a social butterfly as I am, but he is an extremely hardworking artist, and he stays offline because that's a huge time suck distraction for him. And I'll show you how that benefits him when I show you his book. If I think of the third thing that I wanted to do, I knew I should have written it down. I'll let you know in that point. I did get this time my phone to work, I hope, when I get there, to show my palette. The last couple of times I couldn't get it to work, and so I couldn't show you my palette um, as I was working. So, anyway, welcome again. I'm going to try to also bounce back and forth between chats. I also need to get my chat up. I know that I'm very active with my chat group on Rumble, but I'm also live streaming to YouTube. So I've got YouTube on a browser somewhere. Yeah, I'm doing great here. Anyway, excuse me. Let me just load up my chat on my phone. If you're there and you're chatting, say hello. And I'd be very appreciative to know that you're working. Let's see here. I got the YouTube up on the other. Okay. So if you're on YouTube and you're chatting, I think I've got it up to see it if you're there. And if I don't respond to you, it's either because I can't see you or I'm just inept and I'm still learning. Anyway, hi, Nancy. Nancy on Rumble, thank you for joining. I appreciate it. Okay, so without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and get to the most exciting part of this live stream, and it's not me painting, but it is me bragging on my husband, Ron Stevenson. This right here, I'm going to zoom it in. Let me see if I can zoom it in. I got a remote control. Aha, there, right there. See it? This, my dear friends, is my husband's book. He's been working on this book for a good long while. I can't tell you how long because I can't remember when he started on this particular book. He's done a couple of smaller books, but you can tell right here. This is what he's been working on. It's the pinnacle of the biggest book yet for him. He's working on a tabletop role playing game. If you're familiar with the Dungeons and Dragons um, tabletop role playing game, this is the same format. And it's called Makundo 4. And this is essentially the headshot that you would associate with the game when it comes out. And this is his Botany and the Beast resource manual. And it talks about all kinds of stuff for the game, like planetary dynamics. He talks about the different people groups or races in the game that you can play as characters. I play an Amazon by the name of Artemis, by the way. And the Amazons, if I can find them in the pages here. I missed it. But in any case, we got some artwork, by the way, that I created for his game right here. This is a watercolor I did for him for this game. I did this watercolor here. I did a lot of artwork in here that you might see. I contributed, and gladly so. But most of this stuff is his, and it's exciting stuff. Great narrative, great storytelling already. And it tells you a lot of what you need to know to get started in the game. And you're not spending $50 on a hardcover book to get started. You really can get started with this thing. And it's wonderful. He's got such expansive, he's got maps. This is another piece of artwork right here that I did. Most of the artwork that I did, that I contributed, which isn't much, but anything that I did was in watercolor. And so he's got great narratives. He's got great images. Every other artwork he created. This is his story, his game. It's great. This is on Amazon, by the way, under Chapter 7 Predators. That's an Amazon who had just recently killed one of the more dangerous predators in the game, by the way. And so, yeah, this is just, I'm excited for him because he's worked so hard on this book and he wanted to make sure it was jam packed with all the basic information you would need to be able to play his game. And he is extremely talented. He's more of the graphic arts, comic book arts artist, and I'm more of the traditional watercolor and oil painting and acrylic. So, but yeah, this is his book, and this is his agenda going forward. He's got here for anyone who decides to buy this book. He shows what's coming out and when, or next. He's got 2 books he's already done, the Amazons and the Fast Spots, and those are specific to the people groups. But this, my dear friends, is a joy to present to you. I got to present it to you live, and I'm excited because this is just, it's a wonderful, wonderful, the printer that we hired, we hadn't worked with before. They didn't do the smaller books. This is a different printer. And when I looked through this book, the images of all the artwork that I remember seeing of his, and specifically of mine, was very true to color. So, and it's high quality, and this side of the pond. It is not offshore. This is printed in the USA. And so, yeah, this is the cover to the book of Botany and the Beast. This is the image of the game itself. It's the premiere image, Makundo 4. And yeah, so I wanted to brag on my husband. He's in the Rumble chat. So if you want to ask him a question, you can certainly do that. I don't know if he's in YouTube chat. I don't see too many people in YouTube, which doesn't surprise me because YouTube probably doesn't care about my little channel. I am not really that great at doing videography. So, but I am great at bragging on the husband unit. So, yeah, kudos, honey. I'm proud of you. I love you. And this is really a great achievement. And if you're into playing tabletop role playing games, I highly recommend you follow my husband and or follow me to connect to my husband so that you could keep track of when this comes out. He is right. He's he sees that finish line. I see it with him. We've been running this race together as a husband and wife unit. I'm probably getting my elbow in some of my paint, but I can't help it. I'm excited. So I haven't been paying attention to the chat right now. I'm sorry because I'm just bragging. I'm bragging. And I think I've got my volume up. So I'll just turn that all the way down. But anyway, that's the big news. I'm excited. Please check my, all my connections are on my Rumble, um, not this video description because I'm not very good at doing that. I got to learn from Lady Hamilton. She's the supreme leader of our Artist Corner group, and she really knows how to do her videography. I got to learn a few. I got to study her and learn under her, and she's my mentor with this whole videography thing. So if you, I think Lady I see you. I see you, Lady Hamilton, and oh, Artive's in. Thank you, Frosty. I kind of knew you'd be there because you have been a huge, consistent support on Wednesday nights. So thank you for joining in. And anyway, so that's the big news. Okay, so on to lesser news, but no less important, is the fact that I am doing painting tonight, not on my dancers, but on my fireman painting. And I had made a promise to myself. If you watched my live stream last week, you would know that I promised myself that I would finish my dancer painting before I would move on to finishing this next painting. However, that being said, I'm going to get my dancer painting and I'm going to explain why I'm breaking my own promise to myself. I'm going to back this up. Well, am I backing this up yet? Maybe I will. Let me see if I can get my painting. Okay. Well, if you didn't think my painting's real, because you've never joined before, it's real. This is real. It's wet. I'm not going to run my hand over it because it's still wet because it's in oil right now. But as you can see, I've been working on this puppy for a while, and it's probably about 75 to 85% done. And the reason I'm stopping it is because it's still very wet, and there are some areas of this painting I can't quite capture alla prima. And alla prima is essentially painting wet on wet instead of waiting for your layers to dry. And I can't get some of the brightest brights to really pop. And plus, I've got this section here that I keep getting lost in. There's a lot of folds and movement and things, colors. Everything's going on in this corner. And I think I've misplaced the leg. So I'm actually going to wait for this to dry. I'm not going to panic, which I've done before. And I am going to repaint this area here from about here over and from the waist down. This area, which has been the most intimidating aspect of this canvas. But right now it's very wet and I want to start fresh and I'm going to repaint here. But I can't do that until it's dry. And because it's oil, it's going to take a couple of days and I can't do it for tonight. So I am breaking my own rule to myself. I'm not done with this, but I am putting it aside and I'm going to paint tonight on my fireman. And you're like, fireman? What fireman? What are you talking about, fireman? Well, I guess I'm going to talk about it tonight. Let's see here. Let me just take a moment to stop and pause and kind of look at my chat because I've been such a chatterbox. Yeah. Let's see here. Yes, wet on wet is difficult. Yes, okay. So my glasses are fogging up a little bit because I'm getting a little warm because I'm a little nervous. All right, now I'm going to back this out a little bit so you can see, I think. All right. So I'm going to turn this a little bit so you can see. I've got a little 30-second video intermission I'm going to subject you all to for when I move that camera I'm talking to over a little bit so I can angle more towards this. All right, so now I'm going to share with you my next painting. This is going to be my fireman. It's an abstract realism where the abstraction is the background with identifiable parts, but also abstractions that have a hint of sky, but hint of other things going on that you can interpret in your own way, shape, or form. You can see I've got a templated fireman here who's going to be standing in the foreground on ground or a rocky outcropping. And so this background right here is painted in acrylic first, um, just to get in critical aspects of the composition. And I know that I need to do more trees than what you're seeing, and I need to have them higher and coming down across here. And then I need to do a little bit more here. And of course, I've got to get my firemen blocked in as well. And I'm going to share the source picture that I used or created from a pexels.com royalty-free image and show you what I did with it so you can see where my inspiration comes from. This is going to be the second painting in my Admirable Masculinity series, which I'm undertaking slowly, but I'm getting there to counter the narrative of toxic masculinity. I think I've got too many men in my life who are wonderful. They are not bad guys. They happen to be white. They happen to be heterosexual. They happen to be strong. And they happen to be wonderful, wonderful people. My husband being one, my two adult sons being more, my father, my brother. I've got friends who are wonderful guys. And I think you guys are getting a bad rep. And I feel incumbent upon me as a female, as a woman, as a mom and a wife and a sister, that I counter that horrible narrative. So it's a passion of mine. So this is going to be the second one. The first one I did was the cowboy. If you're familiar, if you've been following me, you know my cowboy. And that's in a private collection already. I've got prints for that on my website at midlifeartist.com if you're interested in seeing that. But this is going to be the second one where I'm using the iconography of a big, strong fireman, forest fireman. And yes, women can be fire people too. That's not the point of this exercise. I'm highlighting the big, strong guys out there who could carry you out of a forest fire if the need came. So that's that's where I'm going with this. So let's see here. Let's see if I can turn this and all right. So I'm going to check my chats. All right. I think it's still going there. I'll check my, I don't see anything on the YouTube, and that's okay. All right. So I'm going to share with you my intermission video so I can move my camera over so you can see this better when I work on it. So I'm going to switch to the intermission. Hopefully, hopefully you'll be able to hear it. And I'm going to mute me for a second. If I forget to unmute myself, I need you to yell at me in the chat. All right. I don't think that intermission worked. So yeah, I'm having a grand old time trying to fix my camera. And that is in the way. Let's see if I can get that zoomed in. I can't move over my camcorder anymore, I don't think. Well, maybe I can. Can you hear me all? Yeah, my intermission video didn't work. I don't know why, but that's typically what's refresh. All right, I'm having issues with my camcorder now. Ah, figures. I try to do something new and fascinating and wonderful, and there I go, losing my ability to do it, and I don't know why. I'm trying to see why my camcorder isn't working. Trying to check all my connections. I don't have a director. Let's see here. Camcorder off, webcam. I wonder why it's not working. Okay. Okay. All right. I think I got it. Now I just need to re-angle it a little bit more so you can see. There we go. Okay. Oh yeah, fun times in Ineptitude City. Yes, that's here in Cohutta, Georgia. Thank you. And I'm checking my chat to make sure I'm not missing too much. All right. All right. Great. All right. So now that you see that, I'm going to try to find my source picture here. Let's see. Nope, not that one. I'm going to try to find my other source picture so you guys can see. Where I came up with this picture. Okay. So now I'm going to try. My mouse is a little wonky. It keeps double blinking. But if you can see this picture, trying to see if it's showing up. So here, I'm waiting for the I think my I'm not sure how to get this to redo. I don't know if you can see the source picture I'm trying to show. I think my own little live cutout. There it goes. Okay. I see. I see now it's showing. Okay. So this is my source picture, and this is not the original picture I found. This is one I created from a Pexels.com image. And Pexels.com has royalty-free images. So there's a photograph of a fireman looking over a forest, and I liked it, but I didn't want to just paint that. I wanted to take it and make it my own. So I mirror imaged it, so he's flipped around. And then I applied a few filters with my Pixlr app on my phone and came up with this to get the abstract background, and to kind of put him in a harsh, high contrast light, but you can still see part, excuse me, of his, where his legs are and his arms. Let me see if I can make it bigger for you. You can see so you can see that there's nuance in the fireman himself as well, um, in the image. So that is what I'm working from. I created this abstract realism image from the photograph, and I'm using it as my source to do this painting. So that's, and you can tell around the chest area of the fireman, I need to get more trees. So I'm going to, there we go. My light's still there. All right, let's see if I can. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna move this over, and then I'm gonna put my mobile on top so you can see my palette. Ta-da! I got my palette scene up. Yay me! So there we have it. Okay. Thank you. Thank you guys. Thanks for being patient with me. I am definitely a slowpoke, but I I got a new paintbrush right here. I don't know if I had this last week or not. I don't think I did. I might have, but you can see that this is a bigger brush, and it's more of a camel's hair. It's more for, um, it could be used in watercolor or acrylic and oil. It's not the exact brush I'm wanting. The exact brush I'm wanting is from Milan Art Institute. They've got a brush set. She's got a nice filbert that's a little wider, a little shorter, and it's great for laying in bigger swaths of paint in the background. Um, and so I I wanted something similar because I can't get that one just yet. And now I got to come up with some colors that are right here. What you're seeing, I posted a picture of this palette the other day, yesterday, I think. This is the palette I've been using for my dancers painting. And I now need to um, put down some colors that make sense for this painting. So I'm going to go ahead and scrape some of this off, get some fresh glass here. I'm going to try to preserve some of this other paint that I have for my dancers until I actually work on it next. It may not happen, but I'm going to try. But I do need to put some darker colors down. So I'm, all right, so I'm a half hour into my hour to an hour and a half. So I want to try to make some hay while the hay is getting. All right, so I need to have some dark greens, I think. And I'm not going to worry about where I've got a slight outline of where I want the fireman to go. But I'm not going to worry about being true to those lines because I can paint over it just fine. I want to get the background really defined. So I need to get some green. So I'm going to pull some paint here. What do I got? Hold my little, this is my oil paints bin. I can mix greens. And some people are like, oh, well, why don't you just mix green? Well, yeah, I can do that. That's not a problem. But, and I may not actually have greens because I'm used to mixing greens, but I thought I had some greens. Oh, wait, I've got phthalo green. Yeah, I think I need to get my burnt umber deep out. And I think I need to get some red ochre. What do I got here? Yellow medium. I got those out already. You can see I've got a mix of Master's Touch, Blue Ridge oil paints, and some Winsor Newton. Okay, so I do have a green, but it's a very dark, dark green. So I am going to mix some greens as well. Let's see here. See if I can get this down closer so you can see. All right. All right, let's see here. I'm going to do some cadmium yellow or cadmium lemon. I'm going to do Hansa yellow. That's what I got from Blue Ridge. Blue Ridge oil colors. And then I've got some ultramarine. I'm going to do my cobalt teal as well. This cobalt teal is a very thick paint. So I'm going to pull that out by the, let's see, Blue Ridge ultramarine, of course. We'll try it with those, and then I'll also have my phthalo green. Okay, I may need to, uh-oh. Well, there it is. Sometimes these caps are too hard to open up with my hands. So I gotta, okay, maybe I won't be using phthalo green. Yep, okay. We'll put the phthalo green away for now. I will mix my colors. All right, you get to see me mix greens. All right. All right, let's see what we got here. You always want to mix the stronger color into the lighter color. So we do mostly just to see where you're at. Let me see. All right. I should probably put on my apron at this point. And then I also need to, these are nuclear in color if you don't tone down the chroma of them. And that's not what we want to, we don't want a nuclear tree. Although that's probably how some people feel about forest fires, huh? They're so hot and so dangerous. But this is definitely too bright for the composition I have in mind. So I'm going to have to tone this down. We'll do a little yellow ochre. You like the palette, Cam? Yeah, I'm glad I finally got it working. Again, just like the cobalt teal. Oh, I gotta see where I'm at here. Cobalt teal. This is a very thick paint. It dries pretty quickly. It sets up pretty quickly. So does my Winsor and Newton yellow ochre. Those are both very thick paints, and they set up pretty quickly. So you have to be mindful of that. I'm going to put a little bit of yellow ochre in this to kind of tone down this nuclear green. And I'm mixing up different colors, and I'm not going to use these. I'll probably end up mixing these up with my brush as I start to apply them. I'm going to try the Hansa. This is Hansa yellow. Oh, let's see. There we go. Hansa yellow by Blue Ridge. The Blue Ridge oil paints are beautiful. If you ever want to try oil paints that are absolutely stunning, Blue Ridge oil colors are really that. I use them as much as I can because they're just beautiful. What you see on the dancer painting is mostly um, the Blue Ridge oils, how bright and cheerful those colors are. And it's funny because I bought essentially the landscape set and then I supplemented with a couple other colors. Um, so, so yeah, they're beautiful. They got great chroma, great tone. They're just very pretty, and they're very well made. And they're made and packaged right in the Carolinas. So look them up. I'm not sure if they were in Asheville or not. I bought my paints before Helene hit, so I haven't checked back. I wish I should. I wish I could have, or I should have beforehand. But I'm sure they're okay. They have to be okay. I hope they are. After Helene, um, and so these are the greens I'm getting with the cobalt teal. And now I'm going to do with the ultramarine blue. I'm going to do, and this is just getting set up to paint, guys. Sorry, I should have done this beforehand, but I had so much to set up and I'm not as good at it as others. So I'm going to, now I'm doing the lemon yellow with ultramarine blue here. Again, this is Blue Ridge colors. Now that is definitely a more rustic green I'm seeing without having to tinker with it with yellow ochre or another muted neutral color. So there's that. That's almost like an army green. And now I'm going to take some Hansa yellow and some of the ultramarine blue and see what I get with that. And then what I'll do is as I need darker or lighter, I will come in with more dark blue to darken the green, or I might come in with more yellow or white to lighten it up. Maybe even yellow ochre because of the distant trees. So I've got a series of greens here. I'm going to bring this up a little bit so you can see. I think I'm going to add a little bit more of this to this. I really want a darker green. So yeah, I don't have oil greens. I got phthalo green that I can't open right now. I'm going to have Ron, the husband unit, help open it for me at some point. Not tonight. Like I said, I can mix these greens, and that's fine. The phthalo green, I've got a swatch. The phthalo green is actually very dark, so you can see it in the light there how there is a green, but it's a very dark green. So that would actually be used closer to the foreground anyway. But this is my swatch. Let's see if I can. Oop, I'm trying to do this so you can read it right. But this is my swatch canvas of all the Blue Ridge paints. Okay. All right. Let's get this going. What say you? Let's get this going. I've been chit-chatting enough. Let's get this party started. I'm going to get an apron on so I don't get paint all over this blouse. I even dressed up for this today because you dress up and you get dolled up for your husband, period. That's what you do. All right. And now I'm putting on my Wonder Woman apron given to me by the husband unit. See? Yep. Wonder Woman is in the house. All right. Let's see here. All right. So if you remember, I have, let me see if I can show you the source pick. There's the source pick. So what I'm going to attempt to do is, again, the background is just to kind of situate things. I may paint over the entire thing with oils, but I'm going to get these trees that are in the middle of the composition at the chest level of the fireman. I'm going to get these trees laid in. That's what I'm looking to do. So let's see how good or bad I'm doing. All right, let's up, let's get started. I'm going to put up on my screen that thumbnail so I can see what I'm doing. All right, I'm going to start with a mid green. And I'm just going to start putting it in. I'm just going to start laying it in. I'm just going to do it right now. Okay. Let's just get going. All right. We're putting it in. You know, I should get the Bob Ross fan brush out to do this, but this is really to get these happy trees in the background. So I need to get these up. So I'm just trying to lay in some color. I can differentiate with darks and lights later. I need to get these in. And if I have to, I can do a little bit more yellow ochre to lighten this up for some of these other areas. Now, I don't have to be exact to the image. I can be, I can get trees, happy little accidents going anywhere I darn well please, right? Happy little trees. Yeah. I'm gonna check my gonna check YouTube. Yep. All right. Nothing on YouTube, and that's okay. Eventually someone's going to show up on YouTube, and I need to make sure that I recognize them when they do come on. So, and you know, and what you're doing here really is just layering. Again, this is an abstract realism. The background doesn't have to be exact. It doesn't have, you know, I'm covering up some of these other trees that I've done in the past, and that's okay, because trying to get these guys in there. I need to do some distant trees, just kind of works better when I don't hold it like a pencil. Yeah, and so right now it looks like, you know, I'm going to eventually get this all to harmonize. But right now what I want to do is make sure that I got a tree line that comes down and fades back into the distance. So that's what I'm trying to get to. And so I'm adding more and more yellow ochre um, so that they fade a little bit further back as I move over to the right of the canvas here. And that's all I'm doing. I'm just trying to lay in the idea of these trees. And then what I want to do is I want to also maybe block in, maybe I need to do a little bit of white at this point. You see that I'm probably doing this backwards, like you're supposed to go back to front, dark to light, um, and large to small. Um, and I don't necessarily follow the rules. So there you have it. Are you a rule follower, fellow artists? Do you guys follow any specific rules that you've learned or that are your own? And do you break them from time to time? Like tonight, I'm breaking my rule that I wasn't going to work on this until I had finished the dancer's painting. And I lied. Well, I didn't lie. Uh, what I was doing was unrealistic, and I decided that I wanted to make sure that that section of the dancer's painting um, is right. I really want that dancer's painting to really turn out great, and so that's ultimately my goal with it. But yeah, this is. I don't see that I'm going to use these unless I mix these two greens here. Well, are you seeing? I've got my. I'm not going to probably use these two greens unless I mix them with something else because they're just too bright for the image that I'm trying to do here. I need my fan brush. I wonder if doing the fan brush like Bob Ross would really avail me some assistance. Let's break out the fan brush. What do you say, guys? Fan brush? Let's see here. Let's do an ode to Bob Ross, shall we? I've got a couple of fan brushes. Let's see here. Let's do an ode to Bob Ross. All right. I have, let's see if you can see these. I got these three. I think I'm going to use this small one. All right, let's do a Bob Ross tree. What do you say? Let's see. Let me look at my reference picture on my computer real quick and see where I want to do this. Let's let's do a couple over here. All right. Bob Ross, let's see if we can do this. All right. I'm sorry, Bob, if I get this wrong. What do you guys think? Am I getting there? What painting are you working on, Nancy? What painting are you working on? You think Bob would be proud, Artisan? We'll see what we will see. Use just the side up top, and then as you go down, you use the whole fan brush. Yes, it's Bob Ross night at midlifeartist.com. Yep. Let's see. Let me look at my reference here. So yeah, sometimes you just want hints of the trees in the background. Again, I'm using that medium green and yellow ochre actually. Like so. Happy little trees. We're going to get these happy little trees in here and happy little accidents, because that's the way. This is the way, right? You can get some trees over here, some hints of trees, because what you're doing is you're giving the viewer the idea that there are trees, and then their eye fills it in. Their eye fills it in. And then, let's see here. I've got a good tree line started. I do want to get some dark ones going. So let's do some of this darker green. Got a little too much medium. So yeah, I'm doing happy little trees, happy big trees, happy mistakes. No one will know. Let's see here. Let's see. I know you can't see very well because it's not straight on, but I know that in the past live streams, me being in the way was probably just as bad. So let's get some darker shades here going, because I can always come in with lights later. I do a mid-tone too, Art of Zen. Typically, the dark to light is in oil. At least that's the conventional wisdom. But and it doesn't follow for acrylics for some reason. And I can't tell you why that would be. But yeah, I mean, and all this is just kind of melding together. Again, this is going to be abstracted when I'm done with it. In fact, I'm going to do a little bit of just straight up ultramarine down here to kind of darken these spots up, darken these trees. Because when I get more of the trees layered in, the layers are really going to show through once I'm kind of done with the layering up. And when it dries a little bit, I can come back with the brighter colors and bring it back, some of the abstractions and stuff. So I'm kind of just kind of getting things in place. This isn't meant to be super realistic because the background is supposed to be an abstraction with um, identifiable, relatable images that the eye can fill in on its own. But yeah, the fan brush isn't bad. I don't use it all that often, but it definitely is the brush. They say that the best way to load up a fan brush is to push into the paint. And I think even Bob Ross talked about pushing into the paint. And then you come in and you can go right over the lighter ones. You bring in forward another tree, but it's in the foreground here. Right over these lighter ones. So a Christmas painting, reindeer and sleigh with fakey looking trees that are driving me crazy. Nancy, make them happy little trees. You know, happy little trees. It's especially if it's Christmas painting. I mean, good night, Irene. You know, you want to do that. I want a big tree here. I want a big tree. What does this big tree say? What does he think? I'm thinking of Bob Ross here. He's just a big tree that wants to stand in front of everybody else because he is the big cheese of the forest. So we're just gonna we're gonna put him right in there. We're gonna push this fan brush into the paint. We're gonna get him going here. The big bad tree of the forest. At least he's not on fire. We're gonna happy snow laden trees. Well, share a pic. Did you share a picture of it, Nancy, or and I missed it? I think I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do for Christmas cards this year. Do you guys make your own Christmas cards, or do you buy them? Last year I did the Christmas balls as watercolors, and then I came in with stickers that I got from Hobby Lobby um, that I decorated the Christmas ornament balls that way. And so yeah, I had a lot of fun actually doing those last year. So I'm thinking that that might be what I might do another made. Um, yeah, I might make my Christmas cards again this year because I've got friends and family that absolutely adore homemade Christmas cards, and so and I think those are fun to do. They're a great light-hearted project. So yeah. So if you've not made Christmas cards for people before, I highly suggest it, especially if you're looking to just unwind or do something fun that's not heavy duty. It doesn't have to be perfect because people who are receiving your handmade or hand painted Christmas cards are delighted to get them. Absolutely delighted to get them. And so you don't have to worry about being perfect with Christmas cards. Um, you really just need to get some more white. Get some more of these trees back here. Again, hinting at trees here. There's not a lot of detail that I'm putting forth in the background. Oh no! What kind of easel was it that you were getting, Frosty? I have my eye on a couple. Um, well, a couple options. I'm not looking to get 8 bazillion easels, but um, the Meeden brand, Meeden, Meeden, they've got some really nice looking functioning easels that I wouldn't mind having at least one of. Um, so, so yeah, I'd be interested to know what kind of easel it was, Frosty, that you were. Boy, this yellow ochre does not like to stay in my brush. I gotta push it in some more. Happy little trees, but you see, I've got it going on here. I got some more over here. Push into the fan brush. So yeah, definitely, definitely plan on probably doing something for Christmas because a lot of people like to receive the handmade stuff. I guess I can't blame them. In a commercialized Christmas nowadays, right? People don't have they don't get uh, specialized one of a kind cards like like what we can create, you know. So I say create when you can and enjoy doing it. Each card I did yet last year with the ornaments, I placed different stickers on each card, so each card was one of a kind. The ornaments I printed up on paper, so they were the same ornaments, but everything else on the cards were handmade each and individually. So, where do you have a whole room, Frosty, or that you use to create? Because I mean, I've got the room I'm in is was is it's both our library and my art room. And I take up most of it. I try to keep a walking space around my workspace here that I'm sitting in right now so people can get to the shelves uh, behind me. People. It's just me and Ron. People. We don't have a lot of visitors coming for uh, our library. We've got essentially a Christian library in our house. So if you ever need to know something, we probably got a resource book in here. We've also got the Interlinear Bible. I don't know if you've heard of the Interlinear Bible, but in this room we've got the Interlinear. And Interlinear Bible is one that has the Hebrew, the Greek, and the Aramaic, I think, if I'm not mistaken, all next to the um, English translation. So you could um, read the scriptures in all the languages that are applicable for the particular scripture that you're trying to read and try to understand. How is my painting looking here? Let's see here if I can turn it so you can see. I think it's looking better. This really made a huge difference. You think I should block in the, maybe I should go ahead and block in the fireman. What do you think? Get just a singular or two color blocking in on it. I don't know. Or maybe I should continue to work on the trees around him some more. I don't know. What do you guys think? All right, let's see here. I think I'm going to take a bigger. I'm going to be a little bolder, guys. I think Bob Ross would be very proud of me. I'm going to take a bigger fan brush and I'm going to make some big trees here. Let's see. That doesn't seem so bold, does it? I'm trying to be bold here. This doesn't seem so bold. Do you hear the brush strokes? I was trying to be bold, but I don't think that's all that bold. Okay, I'm not as crazy as he is. I don't put a big old tree in the front here. I would think that would take away from my guy. Block in your firefighter. Okay, I got a vote to block in the firefighter. All right, I'm going to do that. That's my plan. Let's see. Okay, you guys can see that. So that means I need to mix up some more colors. Yes. All right, let's mix up some colors. I think what I want to do, that's mostly a medium now, not paint. So I'm going to take that out. I have some burnt umber deep, burnt umber deep, and I've got some Master's Touch red ochre. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to block in I'm going to go dark at first. It's going to look like a big old outlined blob, but that's okay because I can come in later. Oils are great because you can come in light over dark. It seems counterintuitive, counterproductive, and it is if you're doing it a la prima. But if you do it in layers, you can get away with putting light over dark. I like red ochre. I used red ochre in the painting that I did of Ron as the chef trying to keep the vegetable platter from falling over. If you remember that painting, I did what, a year and a half, 2 years ago now? Gosh, time's flying. That I did. I don't need the fan brushes right now. I'm going to block in. Let's see. Let's use my big old brush. Ready to use my big old brush? We're going to block this puppy in. What do you say? Let's get this party started. Woohoo! All right. I'm going to start with red, come in with some, and I'm just doing straight up color here. I'm not worried about getting exact colors right. I'm blocking them in. That's all I'm doing. I got to switch over from my OBS software to my thumbnail real quick here. Okay. Yeah, so I'm going to start with red. It's going to look really odd at first, and that's okay. Oh, you know what? I'm going to do some medium here. There we go. Almost like a glaze. All right. I'm going to get him blocked in. Gotta get him blocked in. I really enjoyed doing the chef painting artisan because one, it was my husband who posed for me, and it was meant to be a funny image. You know, sometimes art can be just too darn serious for its own good, right? And so it's every now and then you need to do something that makes you laugh or makes you chuckle or even just at the very least makes you smile, you know? Um, and so that's kind of what I was going for with that image because my husband and I, we have a great laughing relationship in our home. He could tell you. Um, we laugh at each other and with each other on a regular basis. Um, and so um, it was just a perfect image to work up. All right, we're getting him blocked in. That's a helmet. Again, I'm trying not to hold like a pencil, trying to hold it at an angle here. All right, I'm going to go back to my OBS software. If my mouse would let me. All right. So yeah, this is I've been waiting to kind of work on this one, and like I said, I had promised myself that I would not work on this one until I got my dancers done. But the dancers have thrown me a curveball. Not one that I can't overcome, mind you. Just means it's a little longer, and I have to wait for it to dry a little bit so I can come in and repaint that corner, resituate some of the imagery appropriately. I think I got lost in it and misplaced some legs, some feet, some folds of the dresses. So there, we got a fireman blocked in here. Now, what I want to do with this is I want to take the burnt umber deep and kind of bring in some of the darker darks just to kind of situate where he's going to be. Let's see here. I'm going to check my. Hey, oh, Crazy Bear came in on the on the YouTube chat too. You're awesome, honey. I love you. All right, so I'm gonna do some dark burnt umber, kind of get some of these darks. I'm really not scared of this, you know, because like I said, this is going to dry pretty quickly because I'm using, it's almost like a glazing. It's very loose. I like this brush, but I really want that Milan Art Institute one. I'm going to have to find a way to put that on a wish list at some point. So his hand is going to be somewhere here. That means that waistcoat's going to stop there. We've got a back leg here in shadow. So yeah, I'm just kind of blocking in some of the darker darks to make sure I've got things placed correctly. There's a darker arm here. next. It's all dark, really. It's all dark, but it's nuanced, and that'll come in when I get into the detail sections. So yeah, I'm not scared to do this part. I'm not scared at all to do this part. Caravaggio, yeah. Yep, that's right, artisan. It was Caravaggio, where it was a stark light to stark dark uh, kind of scenario. That's correct, Caravaggio. I need to. So yeah, this is like I said, just blocking it in. So that's where he's going to be. This is up close rock formation. Let's see, what time is it? I'm getting close to my hour and a half, so let's see if I can get a little bit of this rock outcropping that he's standing on. I'm just going to do some wacky colors with a different brush to get a different texture look here. Let's see here. Let's do this one. We're going to do some ultramarine blue, some of this yellow ochre. Heck, we'll even put in some green. Get some of this with this kind of brown. I gotta, it may be more purplish at this point, but I'm gonna just kind of indicate the rocky outcropping here that he's standing on so he doesn't appear to be floating. No detail here, just situating him on this rocky outcropping. And it's going to have rocks. It's going to have highlighted rocks that show that this, the light in the distance is shining on it. But yeah, this is just a placehold the rocky outcropping using some of the colors already on my palette. Let's use a medium here. All right. And I hate when I got to get one of those easels that I don't have the edge here or whatever. I'm scumbling here using the side of the brush and just brushing it down. So the rocky outcropping goes all the way over to the in front of his toe. So we've got him placed on the canvas. He still looks like he's floating, but that's okay. Right now, he's got a home on the canvas. And he's a happy fireman because he's not having to fight a fire at the moment. He's scanning the horizon to make sure he doesn't have to go into action Jackson. And this is too bright, but I'm going to get some more stuff in there. But I think I'm going to round out tonight's paint job here by checking out what's on this chat. Did it? Oh, good, Nancy. He already looks good. Well, he's I don't know if he looks that great yet. I'm going to try to find, let's see, webcam. Camcorder. Okay. Camcorder. Source pick. All right. Let me bring up the source pick here so you can see it. My mouse. Come on, mouse. There we go. So that's the picture. Okay. And you can see he's standing on the rocky outcropping. You can see to the left of him, I need to darken up if I want to. I don't have to, but it would make more sense that way, even though it's an abstraction. And I really want to give him that halo effect up top around. You know how you see on that source picture that the helmet has, and his shoulder is almost haloed with an orange that fades into the red ochre that fades into a green. That I really want to make sure I keep. I think that's a fantastic aspect of this source picture. And so I definitely want to get him darker on the left. I want to place him on the rock cropping. I want to really highlight that halo effect on his helmet. And then I'm not sure what I'm going to do. You can see in the source picture that there's a hint of a horizon or a distant hill. And then you see all the abstractions. I don't think I've got enough of that. So that's okay. I can get more of it going. That's the whole point. So yeah, excuse me. Excuse me. Let me go ahead and I'm going to take that out there. Corner. I tell you, there we go. So yeah, he's there, isn't he? That's not bad. Not bad for what, a half hour to an hour's work. So yeah, I'm gonna back this up here. Okay. And come into focus. Yeah, I'm not gonna move that camera. I had a heck of a time. But thank you for joining me, everybody. Um, I want you to remember my husband's wonderful, wonderful accomplishment. This is a huge accomplishment. I'm really, really proud of him. I love you, honey. You did great. And I know that when the other books come in, um, that it'll really help kind of provide the foundation to move forward with crowdsourcing or crowdfunding. I always say crowdsourcing, but crowdfunding the project because he's worked so hard on this. And we both can see the finish line to hopefully the finish line for us being we bring it to crowdfunding and people love it, and want to buy it. But we also know that we have to do a whole lot more, and we've never done this for anything, so we're climbing mountains we've never climbed before, but I have faith we'll do it. So yeah, I love you, honey. I'm proud of you. And I want to thank everyone who joined in tonight to celebrate with us just that accomplishment and to join me in getting this painting moved along. Um, I suspect that next Wednesday you'll see me working on the dancer painting again, hopefully to finish it. So hopefully I won't do as much chatting of any kind unless there's another big announcement. And I'm kind of hoping there's always a big announcement, a good one, you know. But I'd like to finish that dancer painting. I really love that dancer painting. It's going to be one of my favorites. That's why it's important to me to get it right. Um, and so that corner is my nemesis, and I'm going to conquer it. And you might see me do that next week. I might finish it before Wednesday, and then you'll see me work on this. Either way, next Wednesday, providing the sky doesn't fall, I'll be back painting again. And I appreciate y'all joining me. I appreciate the chat. I'm just so thankful. Really, I am. After last night's disappointing news cycle, I just didn't want to be online. But this made it worth it. So thank you, everybody. You guys are awesome. We got a great family at Artist Corner on Truth Social. So if you're not on Truth Social, you guys are really, and you're an artist, you're really missing out on the best group ever anywhere on social media. That's just my opinion. Uh, you can take it or leave it. But if you take it, come and join us. Be part of the community, be part of the family, because we are a big family. So thank you, everybody. Please leave a comment, share, do all the usual algorithm brouhaha. But most importantly, have a good night. And let's look forward to what Lady Hamilton has for us this coming weekend. Thank you all. Have a good night.